This is our native bee balm. Bee balm smells a bit like oregano. It can be used in fish dishes if you like to eat fish. But it produces these very, I would say, crazy hair flowers that our swallowtails and my hummingbird moths cannot get enough of. So I love to grow this, and I put it right beside my vegetables. Another one that I'll grow, and I'm happy to give you because it's a native that can be aggressive. Aggressive means that it likes to reproduce, and so I have plenty. I'm happy to share with you is cutleaf coneflower. This is visited by hummingbirds, it's visited by bees and butterflies, and it gets super tall. So mine last year was about 9 feet tall. So I tell people do a Chelsea chop. What that means is you're gonna chop down some of these natives on Memorial Day by half, and then by third on July 4th. And what that's gonna do is keep them from getting so tall and flopping over in the garden. So they can take a pretty hard cut. So do you need a giant garden to attract these or help out? Absolutely not. Even if you've just got a deck, you know, you can put pots like this, and we're going to be planting this today. This is what I use for my herbs. So it's right outside my kitchen, but a lot of mosquitoes hate herbs. They hate the way they smell. So if you've got a mosquito problem, I highly recommend planting herbs. So we're going to be doing that today. But some of the other ones that I love to plant are milkweed, which is our host plant for our monarch butterfly. We have both swamp and common milkweed, and I've got seeds for you as well as plants. Swallowtails love herbs, so they will compete with you for the parsley, dill, and fennel. So if you see all of your parsley disappear, that's probably swallowtails. So you want to grow enough for you and enough for them. I had a swallowtail nursery, and last year the birds figured that out. So I was really excited, like these really fat caterpillars. And I'm like, yay, we're gonna have so many swallowtail butterflies. And the next morning I went out and they were all gone. And I'm like, okay, somebody had them for a snack. So a lot of the things you guys have picked to plant, parsley is a nice companion plant. So I like to put parsley here and there, and then the birds can't necessarily find them. That's true of all pests, that if you won't plant in perfectly straight rows, you confuse the pests, and so they're less likely to eat your vegetables that you want to eat. The other ones that I would say are what we call keystone plants. Keystone plants are the plants that host the most butterflies and birds. So if you're flying and you're a bird and you're looking for something to eat, the place you want to land is an oak tree. An oak tree hosts 580 different types of caterpillars. So it is a smorgasbord buffet when they see oak trees, and we have tons of native oaks for all different kinds of conditions here in Pennsylvania. I also like helianthus, which is sunflowers. Sunflowers are a huge nectar source for your bees. And then going into the fall, asters and goldenrod are also keystone plants for Pennsylvania. So beautiful yellow color for the goldenrod. A lot of people get it confused with sneezeweed. So if you have allergies, it's not goldenrod. You'd literally have to stuff it up your nose. It's not wind pollinated, it's pollinator pollinated. So, but people see it. So you might not be able to see this video, but that is a hummingbird moth. And they are just the coolest thing. They look like a hummingbird. I see them every year in the garden, but they're just really spectacular to visit. So that's the real joy of doing this, is like every day the garden's different. And some days I just go down there and watch. They're down there for sure. So again, the other thing that you can do to help out is in the fall, leave the leaves. So if you do a big fall cleanup, if you can at least just rake those leaves into a pile, or maybe put them under your plants. It's okay to chop them up with a lawnmower if you have a whole bunch of them. They're great for your next year's beds. You can pile them, put them in a pile, and I'll show you my compost piles. But those are your next year's butterflies. In some of our cases, a good majority of our butterflies overwinter in those leaves, and the leaves sort of provide a blanket and also provide protection for them. In fact, one of the girls found a cocoon and brought it inside last winter, and I got this call of, can you come rescue this butterfly? Because they're like, now what do we do? Like they brought it in to protect it, but unfortunately it was warm, so it hatched. So if you find them, you can just leave them in your garage. You know, don't bring them in unless you're willing to babysit a butterfly. So I mean, this is the great thing about being a gardener. In the fall, you just be a lazy gardener, and I leave the seed stalk standing because the migration now is back the opposite direction. They're eating the seeds. Anytime we walk down in the garden, there'll be 30 or 40 birds down in the wintertime, which is really a lot of fun. And it's kind of interesting, you know, it provides kind of an interesting texture. And then you'd want to leave, if you're going to trim, at least 1 foot of your stalk standing. And I'll show you why, because that's the bug hotel for the bees, as well as they're now, as they emerge, they'll start laying eggs in those stalks. And your perennials will grow up and no one's gonna be able to see them. So, and this just gives you some of the color of some of the plants we've talked about. So this is aster, this beautiful purple color, and then this yellow is goldenrod.